Quorsum is a two-player racing game. Each player controls two pawns, green versus blue. The first player chooses which corner each pawn will begin in. Now, after the pawns are placed, the goal in Quorsum is simple. Move both your pawns to the corners opposite where they began. Now, throughout the game, the arrows on each pawn remain pointing toward their final destinations, so there's never any confusion. Blue takes the first turn. He's got 4 dice to use however he wants. He is going to use 3 of those dice to try to move that pawn in the corner. He'll use his last remaining die to try to flip that tile marked 3. Now that he's assigned his dice, he will hit the roll button and decide which one to try first. Here he's going to try to move his pawn first. Pawns in Quorsum move 1 tile at a time, up, down, left, or right. Most importantly, this pawn is on a white tile, so it can only move to other white tiles for the entire rest of the game. Here he's got 2 options to move toward. He decides to try to move to the 4. Now how will he know if he makes it? Well, one of his dice has to show at least a 4. He rolls, and one of his dice did show at least a 4, so the move succeeds, and he can keep moving if he wants. Once again, he will roll his die. He's trying to go to the 3 beneath him. He needs at least a 3 on that die, and he gets it, so another successful move. He can keep going like this. He'll try for the 6. It would have to be a 6 in this case, and now it fails, so his move is over. He does still have a die left to try to flip that tile marked 3. Just as for moving, he would need a 3 or more to succeed. He gets it, so the tile does flip to white. And now blue's turn is over. We will skip through green's turn at this point. As you can tell, he was able to flip a tile to black and move his pawn up onto it. So now we are back to blue. Now blue really does not need to flip any tiles, so he will use all his dice to try to move. He'll use 1 die to try to move that pawn in the center, and his other 3 dice to try to move his pawn in the upper corner. First, he will try to move that central pawn there down to the 6. Not likely to work, and it doesn't, so that move is over. His upper right pawn, he'll try to move down to the 3. That succeeds with 2 dice, so he still has 2 dice left. He'll try to go down to the 5. That also succeeds. 1 remaining die over to the 6, not quite. So his turn is over, back to green. Now here green gets a little greedy, and it's a little risky, but green will try 4 different actions all on 1 turn. Now to do that, of course, he will only be able to use 1 die for each of those 4 actions, so let's see what he has up his sleeve. A bit of a dangerous play, and this is not something you would try if the tiles were much higher. Here they're all 2s and 3s, so as you see, his dice are succeeding so far. Now he's got a path of black tiles that his pawn can move along. We're going toward the left again. Another success. Now at this point he is blocked in. 2 pawns cannot occupy the same tile, so his turn is over. Turns continue just like that until one player gets both pawns home and he wins the game. Now you know the rules of Quorsum, time to start playing.